Alright, so hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to talk a little bit about the Napalm grenades, which is a weapon mod from the Nightwave for the Penta and Secura Penta. Now, this augment actually turned out to be a lot more interesting than I originally thought it was going to be, because if you go by description alone, you just see that it makes the grenades leave behind a little fire patch and it adds some extra status chance. But in reality, it actually completely changes the weapon. So first of all, there is a nice fiery trail behind each grenade, so that's a nice visual effect. Second of all, it makes the grenades detonate on impact rather than just bounce around. And third of all, it changes the base stats of the weapon when you equip it. If we take the Secura Penta as an example, you can see that it does 75 impact damage and 300 blast, but as soon as I equip the Napalm grenades mod, it changes it to 650 hit, and that becomes the new base. Meaning that if you put on any mods that either modify or add damage in any way, shape or form, they will use 650 hit as base, so it almost doubles the damage of the weapon. And that's just straight up insane, especially with the increased status chance, if you mod the weapon for gas. And that's the build that I ended up going with. I tried a bunch of different elements, but gas is just by far the strongest here. So the setup itself is running Serration for damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, Point Strike for crit chance, a Vital Sense for crit damage, and then I have Hammer Shot, but you can play around with different stuff. I chose it to get a little bit more extra status, so the gas procs are more prevalent, or even more prevalent than they are without Hammer Shot, but it's not that big of a deal, and it adds some crit damage as well. But as I've said, you can play around with different mods. I chose Hammer Shot because it fits the polarity the weapon comes with. One mod that would be pretty devastating, for example, would be Hunter Munitions for some extra slash procs, and you can even put a Riven in there if you have one. Then we of course want to use Napalm Grenade since it's a build that's designed around it, and finally we have Malignant Force and Infected Clip to change the heat into gas. And going with gas actually has another benefit to it because it does way less self-damage than the other elements since Warframes use ferrite armor and gas isn't that good versus ferrite. And that's a very good thing because when I was playing around with corrosive and radiation, I was nearly one-shotting my Naros with this. Now I was very pleasantly surprised by this augment because I was kind of worried it's gonna end up being Nightwatch Napalm 2.0, which isn't very good. And while the fire patches that the grenades leave behind won't do much of anything aside from crowd control enemies when they first proc heat on them beyond like level 10 or 15, the changes the mod does to the Penta and the way it works are absolutely fantastic. It is dangerous if you're running a squishy frame and you don't have like 1000 health and some armor on top of that because you will just end up one-shotting yourself if you derp out, but then again the Penta was already pretty dangerous because the grenades will bounce all over the place. So while it technically makes the weapon more dangerous because it gives it more damage so it will one-shot more frames, it also makes it safer because the grenades are far more predictable. But it also makes the weapon far more fun, in my opinion at least. I really like the change to where the grenades will just detonate on impact, so you can use it as a sort of more standard video game grenade launcher. It actually feels very similar to the old Zephyr Tonkor combo that we used to use. I don't know if it works anymore, but what you would do is get a ton of projectile flight speed from Zephyr for the Tonkor, and that would cause the grenades to detonate on impact. That was a lot of fun. And so is this. It kind of feels like that, just the grenades have a lot more drop-off. So if you enjoy that kind of playstyle, or you think this looks fun, I would definitely give it a shot if I were you. Or you know what, just give it a shot. You're gonna get the mod eventually, so it doesn't really matter. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.